In this video we're learning to use Pythagoras' theorem to find the longest side of a right-angled triangle. The theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the other two sides. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if I have a right-angled triangle with sides A, B and C, where C is the hypotenuse, we get the equation that A squared, that would be the square that we would get if we drew it off of side A, and B squared, the square that we'd get if we drew it off of side B, equals C squared. So what are the steps we go through when we're trying to solve a problem using Pythagoras? Well, the first thing we do is we label the triangle, the sides of the triangle, making sure that C is the hypotenuse. The next thing we do is rewrite down the formula. Now this isn't necessary, but I do think it's good practice. Always write down A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We then fill out this formula with the values for A, B and C. One of those is going to be an unknown. We then rearrange that equation so that it's x equals, if x is the letter that we've called our unknown. And then we square root both sides to get the value of x. Okay, so here's an example. We're trying to find the length of the longest side, the hypotenuse, and we've called that x. And we know the length of the other two sides. They're 7 meters and 8 meters. The diagram's not to scale, and that will often be the case. So the first thing we've got to do is label the sides of the triangle, and x needs to be C. Not because it's the unknown, but because it's the longest side. So the next thing we do, step 2, is we write out the equation. That will be the same in every Pythagoras theorem question. Next, we fill out those values. So instead of A squared, it's going to be 8 squared. Instead of B squared, 7 squared. Instead of C squared, x squared. We can now simplify this because we can work out the values of those squares. And then we can add that side together. So we get 113 equals x squared. We square root both sides and we get 10 equals x. Well, we're not Yoda, it's not 10.6 equals x. The answer is x equals 10.6 meters. I've also included a worksheet with questions for you to try, and you can find a link to that worksheet in the description. I hope you found this helpful. Stay in infield with Winfield.